Everything is lined up, workable. Yay. Wow. Server's currently congested. Yay. I was angry this morning and then I made myself angrier, but the way I made myself angrier made my girlfriend and bestie tease me for several hours. So I'm in a much better mood. So we're gonna oh look, I'm leveling Gunbreaker. It's not ever gonna catch up in time to do anything. That's a Dantas. Let's see if Dantas notices. Got an oh hi Gobo. I'm gonna risk the stream to check my chat coverage. Yes, it's properly covered. I am starting stream. Gonna exploit the lessons of my trip to Elpis. Smiley face. No. I accept no consequences for my actions. Ah. Dantas is prepping for a raid. Dantas is like full level. Dantas is one of the people who I've mentioned before, Red Mange Redemption. I'm like friends with them, and Dantas is one of the people who's like great and helpful. They helped me get into Party Finder and over my fear of that. They're awesome. Wow, it's a Dantas. And we'll get a little lottie-ho and go away. So I can properly start things. Wow, wait. I can't start things this way. Oh no. That's okay, I can use this to get somewhere. Wow, let's go. Let's go. Let's go be a little dangerous. We'll come over here to this Bismarck and we'll, like, sip tea. We'll properly open things. Well, actually, I should change job. Reaper. Ah. We'll do our chatting here while I wait for everyone. Do I have a drink tea emote? There is a tea emote, I just don't have it. R.I.P. Well, that's fine. So yeah. Political stuff. The main political issue is the same one ongoing. Contact MasterCard, contact Visa, oppose COSA, oppose the Screen Act. Like, it's the spinning wheel. You know what things are. Let's see, can I scheme here? Really? Is there no sitting down version of scheme? I cannot believe Scheme has no sitting. It has a flying. Oh my gosh, that is so... I can't even. Can't shake drink while sitting. Can't tome scroll while sitting? I am bamboozled. Okay, we can converse while sitting. We'll do that. It's not quite as good as scheming, but it works. And I'll have that open. So if someone comes to bother me, I can tell. So yeah, the situation. It's the same as usual. Oppose the Screen Act. Oppose COSA. Ask Congress to regulate payment processors so that they cannot dictate what you do and do not get to spend your money on. Like, that's not their job. There's an added little hubbubaloo. There was an esports conference or esports event over the weekend, and MasterCard interfered with that conference to force them to moderate discussions about MasterCard in the chats surrounding that conference. So you weren't allowed to talk shit about MasterCard in that esports thing, because MasterCard said no. That, once again, not something that they should be allowed to do. They should not be permitted to dictate what companies do and do not allow as speech. That needs to be overwritten. So, once again, do your dailies, call Visa, call MasterCard, call PayPal, express your, disgust at their censorship. Call your Congress critters, tell them we don't want COSA, we don't want the Screen Act, and we want you to regulate these payment processors so they cannot dictate what is and is not culture. It's not that dramatic list, I know it's a few phone calls. Phone calls are miserable. But, just line them up, do them like your dailies. Even if you miss them now and then, if you're making an effort and everyone's making an effort, we'll keep their phone logs clogged until they stop trying to decide what legal content is and is not appropriate for adults to consume, for adults to create, for adults to purchase, for adults to sell. They need to not do that. And I'm glad that it's coming to the fore now. It should have come to the fore, 10 years ago when they were doing it about, sex workers and cam work and things like that. But, late is better than never. That said, we still have a bit of time till everyone shows up. I'm going to do some more chit-chat with you. This is going to be just silly barb chat time. First I'm going to do is I'm going to share what upset me this morning first. And then I'm going to share the events that led to my girlfriend teasing me, because it improved my mood, and I think it's a very important sort of bit of barb lore and a great little tie-in to my perspectives on things. So the thing that angered me this morning was I was trolling YouTube while I was waiting for my morning monster to kick in, and watching some videos from a channel called Baltimore History. And that channel, includes old news footage and such from ages ago. And there was some B-reel footage, some raw, uncommented interview footage about a slum that got bulldozed in the 80s in East Baltimore, Lafayette Plaza. A few residents complaining that the power went off and they didn't do anything about it, and it cost them nearly $100 each in groceries from just the freezer going down. And then an interview with the manager saying, well, they already had the opportunity to come and fill out such and such form. Like, obviously out to cover his ass because he, like, was stonewalling everyone until they missed the deadline. You've all seen that guy. We know the situation. The thing that pissed me off is you have this, like, middle-aged white dude going, is it even possible to save Baltimore anymore? And it's like, what the fuck are you on about? This is a footage from 40 years ago. Like, before I was born. And it's one isolated case. And it's just like, it got me so angry, because it's always these, like, middle-aged white men who all kind of look the same. Not like in a, oh my gosh, all white people look alike way, but in a, they all wear the same shirt. They all cut their hair the same way. Like, they want to be frickin' Bruce Willis, and then they're never going to be Bruce Willis. You know, they want to, and they say this shit about Baltimore. And if you poke at them, I didn't poke at this guy. I've poked at these people before, and if you poke at them and get them to respond, they are usually, like, from Baltimore, but they left in, like, the 70s or something, because they're, like, ancient. And they talk about, like, all these problems that Baltimore had then and how they can never recover. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Baltimore was like in the 70s. I wasn't born in the 70s. I was born in the late 1980s. And you know what? I don't even know what Baltimore was like in the 1990s or the 2000s or the 2010s. I moved to Baltimore in 2023. Right? I've only been here a couple years. Here's what I can tell you about Baltimore from my experience moving here. Number one, Baltimore was a nice enough town that I was willing to move here. Wow. It's like, it's not like I had a job offer or something. I was working remote at the time. The company I worked for was had gone fully remote. I needed to get out of where I was because I was, you know, we were experiencing that kind of rising tide of transphobic harassment, and it was just making the place unsafe. And I'm like, this is a pretty nice place. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't fully sold on Baltimore when I moved here. I was in part moving to Baltimore because I had friends in DC, and you can get to DC by the mark, and it was relatively affordable. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can put up with all that horror story stuff. Like, I don't go out very often. I'm a little disabled. It's gotten worse since then, but you know, I still knew I didn't really go out super much, and I could just get here. I could go down to DC, hang out with friends in DC, and it would be fine. What I was shocked and awed to discover is that people in Baltimore are actually really neighborly. Like, the way that they are in the countryside. But, like, where in the countryside, someone's neighborly because you're only seeing people, like, once a day. And you're like, oh my gosh, we need to have a conversation because I don't see people and it's not church day. And oh my gosh, we're gonna have a conversation at the hardware store with a stranger and we're gonna talk about weather. Like, it's that, but, like, it's a small town. So it's like anytime you go out, there's someone being neighborly. And, like, if you have trouble with your trash, there's someone being neighborly to help you with your trash. If they need help with your groceries, there's always someone being neighborly and helping with your groceries. Now, they aren't always, like, the most classically respectable people. Like, I'm not going to name any names of people because I don't want to, like, out anyone or dox anyone or anything. But, like, one of the people who helps me with my trash fairly regularly was, until very, very recently, a crack cocaine addict. I'm sorry. Apparently he still is. My girlfriend is going. My girlfriend's like, actually, he, last I heard he quit, but apparently the update since then is he fell off the wagon. It's a process. I understand. I used to have a stimulant problem in college. I understand that it is tough to quit, and, like, I'm not gonna judge. But, like, he's still real friendly. And then there's other people who are also pretty friendly, and, like, like you get to meet so many people, and some of them are like one of my friends is a like the kid of a former foreign diplomat. Another one of my like regular friends is like actually a fairly successful podcaster, who makes a living from that. Like, he's the guy who made it. He's the guy who made the 100 Ornithopters cube. He's a friend. I know him. He's pretty neat. Then like I'm also friends with like other people who are maybe not as dramatic. Like I have a friend who I've met since coming here who is like a sex worker and is, yeah, it's like, okay, that's what you do for a living. And she's really cool and she's real nice and she's real friendly. She helps me out. She helps me get things done. And it's just, when I hear someone talk about Baltimore like it's someplace that can't be saved, I can't help but think that they are full of shit. Now, I'm not going to say Baltimore doesn't have issues. Like, everywhere I've ever lived has issues. You give me, and I'm an extremely critical person. You give me a place and you give me half a day and I will have a list of things that need to be fixed. That's just how I am. You give me a person and like 10 minutes, I'll have a list of things that I don't like. That's true for everybody. I'm an extremely critical person. But like, treating Baltimore like it's someplace that's never going to be fixed is such bullshit. And it's always these older white guys. And what they mean is Baltimore's full of black people. That's ultimately the problem they see as not being fixable. And you know what? They're right. Baltimore is never going to not have black people fucking cope. That's not a problem. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's really tied to any of the problems. A lot of the problems Baltimore has are kind of rooted in the history of racial relations in the city, but like, they're generally not caused by the black people. They're caused by the white folk who didn't want the black folk around. And we're still dealing with that shit now. Like, the two biggest problems I think Baltimore has are the housing issue and the school issue. And you're like, whoa, what about the violent crime? Barb, what about the violent crime? I don't think that that's actually as big of an issue as people trade it out to be. I've ranted about this before, that it's only a problem if you're kind of in the social networks where that occurs. And also, the violent crime has been going down drastically. I have many criticisms about Mayor Scott. His handling of the violent crime epidemic in the city is not one of them. Actually, that's not true. I have criticisms of how he handled it. He did too much policing, not enough community service, but I cannot argue with the results. So, what do I mean, though? Well, so if you ever come to Baltimore and you drive in along US 6, you will see a bunch of blasted out houses. You'll come in through West Baltimore, you'll see a bunch of blasted out row homes, and it just looks like, and to quote my son Rex, when he first came into Baltimore, oh my god, it looks like a zombie apocalypse film. And it kinda does if you come in by US 6. Like, the city's a bit blasted out. The city used to have a population of nearly 2 million, and it's about a quarter of that now. It is on the up and up, though. It's on the up and up. Rah! But, it is a serious issue. We have a lot of abandoned buildings. We have a lot of buildings that are owned by folk who are just not maintaining them, who are kind of waiting for them to get bought by someone who's going to tear them down and build a condo building. Like, it is what it is. But it's a major issue, and it's part of, I think, why we have the negative reputation. It's part of why we have a lot of the stuff that we have is because people see these and they go, oh no. Which means that then people don't want to have their businesses here. and then people don't want to be hiring, and then there's not much opportunity, and it kind of has a feed-in or knock-on effect. But I think if you got this like problem somewhat resolved, then a lot of problems would go away. It wouldn't be a magic utopia overnight. There is no magic pill solution to any problem, but that's one of the two big ones. The other big one, in my opinion, is the education issue. Again, rooted in the particular racial bullshit in Baltimore's history. But basically, you have ghettoized schools. Those schools are bad. No Child Left Behind comes along. Those schools are bad. They get their funding cut. The schools get worse. And it's terrible. Baltimore comes up with the great idea that New York City had to try school choice. Now you have some schools that are really good, and the smart kids get there, and everyone else goes to the other schools that are now even worse. And no one gives a damn about them, and their funding gets worse and worse, and it's just a nightmare. School choice, I think, has failed in Baltimore. I don't think it's because school choice is necessarily a terrible thing on its own, but for it to work, you need to have a better, more interconnected public transit system than we do. And you also need to, have a backbone to make sure that the kind of bottom schools aren't absolute garbage. And you also need to have, less charter schools. I hate charter schools with a passion. But yeah, I think if you got those two things fixed, that would go a long way to quote-unquote fixing Baltimore. But again, I don't think Baltimore is nearly as bad as people call it. It has bad patches, it has bad neighborhoods, it has problems. But for the most part, it's a city that is on the up, and it has been on the up by any measurable metric that someone throws at me for the last 2 decades. It is not the place where The Wire took place. Although I have been to a lot of the places that you go to in The Wire, and I got kicked out of a Discord server for going to Wire watch parties and going, oh my god, I know that's here, and oh my god, I think I took a picture of it, and then posting a picture of it, and then they're like, okay, you need to stop. The Wire's a fun show, but it does kind of misrepresent what Baltimore is about. But yeah, that was what pissed me off. And so I went, how do I solve being angry before stream? And I thought the way to solve this is, of course... I'm going to look to see if everyone's hanging around. They aren't. Okay. The way to solve it was to make myself angrier over something that doesn't matter. So I went down to Washington, D.C. on Zillow and sorted by houses most to least expensive. So I could look at all of the bullshit that they're doing in the expensive houses. Doesn't update with people's coming anymore? It used to. Oh, I guess it doesn't anymore. Hi, Halavali. But yeah, so, as I was saying, oh, converse isn't a loop. Oh, that is so horrible. But yeah, just those places, and the first place, the most expensive place in DC, is not actually all that bad. I'm going, oh my gosh, I like that. I like the oak. I like the trim. It's a little bit excessive, but it's, it's fine. And it made me feel pretty okay. And then the next place just pissed me off. You have to understand how angry it made me. That place just, it made me so angry. It was all just the most, like... I said out loud, and this led to the start of my bestie and my girlfriend teasing me. I said aloud, what is this new money bullshit? Like, they had these god-awful hanging lamps with this, like, shiny black plastic outside and gold interior. And then recessed ceiling lights. They had, like, every surface covered in the fucking fake-ass marble that kills the workers who cut it. It was just so... And it was boring at the end of it all. It was so bad. But this led to me getting teased, which led to me presenting various things, which led to me eventually looking at Baltimore and going, oh my gosh, is Nabe Manor still here? Because I'm going to open myself up to get teased more, because if Nabe Manor is still on the market, I'm going to tell everyone how much I want it. And it is, and I want it. And they cut the price. Oh my gosh. Chat, I need to open a GoFundMe. Target $3 million, buy Barb Nabe Manor. Y'all can come live with me. It's like a 7-bedroom house. And it's really cute. Like, you go in and there's like a little front hall and there's a living room to one side and there's an office to the other. And then you go into... what? What's wrong? You go in and there's a great big, like, dining room. And then there's a kitchen and then there's a great hall, which they call the great room, but it's like a great hall. And you go through the dining room, you get to the great hall. The kitchen's off to the side. There's a dinette next to the kitchen hooked onto the great hall. And it's like, it's got columns inside. I do not recall, like, Dorian versus Ionic columns, so I can't tell you which ones are which. But I don't think they're actually either. They're like the faux Greek columns that were popular in the 1890s. It's got a little elevator, and just, I want it. I want it so that I can, like, have all my friends come live with me. And I can, like, I don't know, offer the DSA general body meeting space in the Great Hall of this mansion that was built in the 1890s by some rich fucker, and just like, hey, haha, the socialists are meeting in what was once your private Great Hall. Eat shit, dead guy. But yeah. So they mocked me for that, and they mocked me for that incessantly. And so I'm like, I called my mom, I asked her for money, and she's like, no. And then we talked about the place. She's like, oh, is this one? Because I'd shown her it before, and she's like, if we were earlier, and then she's like, honestly, if we were earlier in our lives, like 40 years ago, we wouldn't exist 40 years ago, but like basically before my dad wasted all of her family's, like, for her forward of her inheritance, she was like, we would absolutely buy that, and we could all live in it together. And I'm like, yeah, and you guys could have the primary bedroom. And she's like, oh, and you don't call it a master anymore. Well, I suppose it's politically incorrect, which then led to us bickering because, like, you have the, you know, your dining room and the buffet table, and, you know, she's like, a buffet table is meant for storing art and minor decorations to be conversation pieces. And I'm like, no, the buffet table is where you should be storing food so that people can serve themselves. She's like, but the help will bring it from the kitchen. And I'm like, you don't have help anymore. This is the 21st century. Having help is so last century. And then she told a little story about how she made one of the people in her neighborhood really happy because she's getting ready to move, so she's getting rid of a lot of stuff that she just has that she doesn't care much about. And there was a lady who was like trying to set up a nice fancy graduation dinner for this is going to be a charity moment. There's a lady in her neighborhood who really wanted, like, freaking who really wanted fancy silver so that she could host a graduation party for her kid. And my mother's like, oh, I'm going to make your day. I have all this plate silver, and I'm going to get rid of all my plate. I'm going to keep my sterling. I'm going to get rid of my plate. I will just give you all my plate. So she gave all of her plate silver to this lady, and this lady wrote, like, a full, like, letter of thank you about how much it's, like, saved everyone. Everyone's going to cherish things. And my mother goes, and it was only plate. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, we are bougie. It's very funny, though. Like, your parents refuse charity. Like, my parents would accept charity at the drop of a hat. You offer them charity, and they go, oh, yes, please, free money, thank you. But yeah, that led to a little moment, and I'm like, well, let me put a picture of a sterling and a picture of a platter in Discord, and I'll ask which is which. And my girlfriend immediately goes, that's sterling, that's plate, and they're both excessive. I hate them both. And I'm like, I love you. Oh my god. Now that said, I do have sterling that is living with my mother until I have a permanent place. So there will be sterling. I like sterling. I also like Waterford, and then I showed off Waterford, and my girlfriend did not understand Waterford. She thought that the diamond-footed Waterford bowl was a bowl that had diamonds in the foot. It's like, no, it's the cut of the glass. So I got my revenge. Mahahaha. But yes, I am slightly bougie. My mother comes from old money. Like, I forget exactly how far it is. I did the calculation once and then promptly forgot. But, like, the King of England is like my second cousin. It's not far away. Like, the former Queen of England and I are no relation, but her husband is a Mountbatten, and the Mountbattens are one of the cadet houses of Hesse, and the Ruperts are one of the cadet houses of Hesse, and I'm from the Rupert line. Last name, not Rupert anymore. I'm not doxing myself. But yeah. So if you ever wonder where my, like, point of view is sometimes weird, it's because I come to socialism from being raised in an ex-old money family, because my mother kind of married a fascist, and he wasted all of her inheritance. They still have some, though. They still have, like, enough to retire comfortably. I don't think I'm ever going to see it, though. But, like, I don't know. While I was getting teased, I outlined, that I like formal dinners, and I like laying them out, and I like serving them, I like eating them. You have the 2-room, 4-course formal dinner where you come in and you have, hors d'oeuvres laying out in the sitting room. Shush. You go out, you serve the lovely... I was never a Nazbol. I had to... My teenage politics could best be described as communism by means of noblesse oblige. Like, of course we need to have communism, and it needs to be run by the government, and the government needs to be run by those who are appropriate to run the government. And it's a responsibility to the common folk to ensure that their needs are met, and that they have opportunity to educate and improve themselves. Like, bullshit. The reality is that my being, like, from this family means about as much as the shits I take in the morning. But yeah, we were talking about the formal dinners, and, like, I think everyone should have the ability to host a formal dinner if they want to. Like, I don't think anyone really needs a formal dining room. I think that Halabali is so patiently listening to my rambling. Yes. But yeah, I think that a formal dining, like every community needs to have a couple formal dining rooms, like set up so that people can like reserve and host little formal dinners. You know, with the sitting room, so you go in with your guests and like the hors d'oeuvres are laid out, and you know spend a little bit of time having chit chat with your guests and nibbling on hors d'oeuvres and appetizers, and then you get called in for the main, and you sit down and you have your main course and you have your conversation in the dining room over the main. Then they bring out a little dessert, and you know have a nice dessert course, and then everyone adjourns back to the sitting room for aperitifs and digestives. Like, I know that's bougie as fuck, but I think that that's like a nice little way to spend an evening now and then, and everyone should have the ability to host or take part in that. And I think that it should be held in common, unless there's like a thing you need in the common like life, is that opportunity. It's like I think that everyone should have access to a yacht if you're on the coast. Like, I don't think anyone should own a yacht, but I think there should be yachts, and people should be able to take them out for an afternoon and have a nice time. And I don't think anyone should, like, own a hunting lodge, but I think there should be hunting lodges, and people should be able to go out there and, you know, enjoy the wilderness and such. Like, there's lots of things that I experienced as a bougie fucking teenager that I think everyone deserves. And I get actually really pissed off that society doesn't let you have that. Like, I think frankly everyone deserves a nice piece of crystal to center their table. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that's silly. I think everyone should have a nice, you know, set of sterling silverware to serve guests and special occasions with. I don't think that's excessive. But I think, like, everyone needs it, and I don't think it's, like, a first-order need. So that's the barb lore. That's the time waste. Let's end the group pose and get a move on. Hi, Ura.
Hey.
Halabali fucking left. So much for patiently listening while I ranted.
Yeah, it was a cardboard cutout the whole time.
Just like all of my friends.
Oh no.
I don't know. Am I too bougie, or my girlfriend and my bestie think I'm too bougie?
What do you mean by bougie?
Like, too fancy, too upper class. In my tastes and opinions.
I have no idea.
I will say platinum is fucking new money bullshit. That's only because I lean into it when they point it out. Yeah. Because, you know, I kind of like it when I get teasingly called the Duchess. I think that's cute. I don't normally have a humiliation kink, but I might have a humiliated ex-noble kink.
Oh no.
That's right, Ura. Call me bourgeoisie.
I can't do it. I was gonna say something stupid, but I couldn't even do that.
While we wait for Halabali, I'm gonna quickly check my summoning bell. Looks like I sold some things. Phase Crown Longbow still desired. Aww. I did sell something! I sold a whole 72 gil! Woo! Thank you, Comey Dalek, for buying a piece of skin. I'm gonna be so slow at regaining the money I got. Because
Oh, hey, the ant. Oh, hey, my Animus jacket finally sold.
Hey!
After 1,000 years.
Nice. I have some freaking plundered gauntlets from a Sastasha run the other day. Because I didn't reject the treasure fast enough.
Yeah.
Ah, there's a halabali.
See. Okay, yeah, the skins got sold. By blissfully unaware.
Yay! Well, it's small.
Huh.
From where?
Oh,
Small
I
thing.
forgot to. Wait.
Where?
That's for the people.
There you go. And now I'll prep my next banana blend. Victory! Bye-bye! I love MMOs so much. Yeah, sometimes they're silly, but sometimes that silliness is running into a small thing, petting it, getting followed around by a little wah, preparing a non-alcoholic banana shake, and then watching it get drunk and pass out. This is why I keep those pictures of wild banana blend. Is for that. They're the leftovers. They're my leftovers from the time I just spent a day standing in Limsa doing shake drink. And then people would come up and like, give me a drink, and I'd be like, okay, have a banana shake, and then give them that. Unemployment was so pleasant. Pineapple orange jelly. Oh, that does sound yummy. You know what's really yummy? Melinda's mango habanero jam.
What?
It's a mango habanero jam from Colombia that they have at my local grocery market.
Okay, but habaneros and jam?
Yeah. It's mango habanero jam. It's so fucking good. Makes me want to die every time I eat it. I love it.
Oh no.
It's good. You should try it. Everyone should try it.
Maybe.
In any case, we need to get to Old Charlian. Halabali can meet us there. No. I'm going to do the stream toggle to the new version so that we can have a proper, like, cut off and not have the stream crash later.